Hello everybody, my name's Mark Birtles and I'm a member of the SLT at Highfurlong School in Blackpool. The purpose of this video is to share with you how we use a program called Seesaw to record our evidence and how it has helped us to promote remote learning during COVID and the various lockdowns. First of all, I want to share with you a little bit about our school. We're a maintained outstanding special school in Blackpool. We have a range of students from 2 to 19 years of age. We currently have 101 pupils on roll with a variety of complex medical and physical needs. And we use lots of technology during our day-to-day lessons to enable our students to be the best that they can be. So what is Seesaw? Seesaw is provided by a company in America, and it gives us at Highfurlong a digital portfolio for recording evidence for every single child in school. Due to the nature of our students' disabilities, we quite often use a lot of photographic and video evidence to help teachers support their assessment of children's progress. Seesaw is accessible on a range of different devices and can be accessed by parents, students, and staff on either smartphones, iPads, or directly through the internet. Seesaw is a secure system. Any parent who wants to access Seesaw has to first be provided with a unique QR code. This only gives them access to view posts and video and picture evidence of their own child using the parent's Seesaw app. Students can access their own class app by using a generic QR code, which gives all students access to the same classroom page. Settings can be altered to either ensure that children can only see their own work or children can see each other's work and each other's posts. We found this particularly effective during COVID as it's helped a lot of our students stay connected when they would otherwise not be able to see each other or communicate. We use Seesaw successfully for parental engagement. Currently in school, teachers and all members of staff can use Seesaw to send messages directly to individual parents. They can be sent to groups of class parents. We also use school-wide announcements, which are sent via the school office to all the parents in the whole school. Staff have the choice to contact parents directly at any point during the day, and this is received by parents as a notification similar to a text message. We also use Seesaw as a means of celebrating our students' achievements. So within Seesaw, we have various folders set up which allow teachers to record evidence in either maths, English, science folders, but we also have one called Wow Moments. These are celebrated usually in an assembly at the end of the week. I'm just going to share with you some of the current statistics we have for our use of Seesaw at Highfurlong. So it was introduced to Highfurlong on the 19th of April 2018. Since then, we have had a total number of 35,540 posts. Now, these posts appear on every class's individual Seesaw page as somewhat of a Facebook streaming wall. So whenever students or staff add pictures, it's added to the wall in chronological order. These posts can either be photo evidence, they can be videos of up to 5 minutes long, they can be drawn images, which are normally by students, they can be uploaded directly from teachers' iPads or teachers' computer devices. Posts could be made up of notes, which is basically a text format, or you could link any item from the internet or from our Google Docs, which we currently use in school. So the graph below just shows how many weekly items have been added since the beginning of time for Seesaw at Highfurlong School. So the peaks and troughs that you can see along the graph correlate to the holiday patterns in our term time. And as you can see from the beginning, our Seesaw use has gradually increased. This is particularly noticeable during the last two lockdowns here. The next statistics that I want to share with you is in relation to immediate feedback. Now, whenever a member of staff shares a post about a child on the class page, it's immediately shared with their parents through the Seesaw Parent app. The parents will get a notification which pops up at the top of their smartphone screen, and it enables them to view the work immediately as soon as it is posted by the member of staff. Parents can then either choose to comment on the student's work, or they can choose to like their own student's work. So currently, our comments to date on students' work are 17,209 since the beginning of using Seesaw. And the number of likes on students' work is 48,473. The ability for parents to like and comment on their own child's work obviously has quite a self-esteem boost for any child, because they can immediately see whether their parent has seen their work, has liked it, and they can also read the comment underneath. The graph below shows the relation of comments and likes for every single post. Again, over time, this has increased for students and for parental engagement at Highfurlong. The last piece of information that I want to share with you is the overview of parental engagement. So since using Highfurlong's Seesaw, we have currently had a total number of 34,163 family visits. Now, these family visits could be either direct relations in terms of parents, or they could be family members who live on the other side of the world. At the moment, as you'll remember, I've said we've got 101 students on roll. But if you look at the end of the graph here for connected parents, we currently have 157. So this shows that family members are connected all around the world. So how do we use Seesaw in school? Highfurlong uses B² to record any progress that a child makes throughout their time in school. Any of you who have used B² will likely recognize this section here. So in order for us to use B² and link it with Seesaw evidence, first of all, we had to take all of the descriptors from B² and enter those into Excel spreadsheets. These were then converted into a format which could be uploaded to Seesaw, and then all staff were given access to the skills section of Seesaw. Our students at Highfurlong follow a range of academic pathways. Some of these will follow the national curriculum, some will follow engagement steps, some students will have evidence recorded against the autism profile. When linking a piece of evidence to support a child's progress and attainment against their individual pathways, staff simply typed in the descriptor which the evidence was used to support. Having linked the evidence to the descriptors, staff are then able to use these to support their judgment, and these can be used during moderation events. This is an example of the skills section within Seesaw, and as you can see, it divides up each piece of evidence into their specific subject areas. For example, in this case, we have mathematics in terms of measurement, geometry, followed by computing. The ability to look back at these targets allows teachers to plan ahead to cover any gaps in learning, as well as tracking progress and supporting teachers with their planning of lessons. Any of the skills can be viewed at any point by selecting a particular date or a particular student to reevaluate judgments against attainment. In the final section of this presentation, I want to talk to you about remote learning and how we've used Seesaw in order to ensure that the learning continues outside of the classroom. Now, when accessing Seesaw, any teacher has the ability to dive into a library of teachers' work which is stored from around the globe. Within the Seesaw app, teachers can conduct a simple search in order to find any topics related to their current lessons. For example, if you type in fractions, then all work from around the world and activities regarding fractions will be brought back from the search. Using the results of the search, teachers can easily allocate any pre-made and existing activity to a child. And once this is completed, the activity will pop up on the child's version of the app at home. Alternatively, what we found useful during the lockdowns was that teachers in our school could tailor and create their own individual lesson, which could then be sent out to the students. Teachers were able to select which students they wanted to send them to, which folders they wanted the work to be dropped into once it had been completed by the student, and they could also tailor any lesson to account for children's various levels of understanding. This is an example of a lesson that I planned for some students of my class who were at the time shielding for medical reasons. Using Seesaw, I was able to firstly type up an information section which explained what the students had to do within the activity. And just in case some students found it difficult to read some of the writing and the text that I'd typed into this activity, you could also record your own voice. So what I chose to do for this was record my voice reading this exact text here. At our school, we decided to allow the teachers to either implement live Zoom lessons, which the children will be invited to, but if it was more appropriate, teachers were able to pre-record lessons through Seesaw, which could then be revisited by students at any point during the day. This was particularly useful for students who might have needed extra help from parents who were working during the day, as the parents could then help the children with the work at the end of the day because the activity was constantly available to them to complete. In order to ensure that all the students who were currently shielding and away from the classroom received the same educational offer as those in the classroom, what I used was the video recording section here. So within this, Seesaw allowed you to record up to 10 minutes of a lesson, or the other alternative was to record your lesson using Zoom and then upload that as a video document to the activities section within this page. Using Zoom allowed us to utilize a loophole which enabled staff to record a video introduction to a lesson of up to 20 minutes, which the students could then watch at home. When teachers had completed the activity and wanted to send it out to students, they could either schedule it to be sent out at a particular date and time, or they could send it out straight away. They could also allocate it to particular students, which allowed for differentiation of tasks, whereby one activity could be sent to half of the class and another activity be sent out to the rest of the class. This allowed for children to complete work at their own independent learning level. In this case, I sent this out to 4 of my students. The activity was delivered to students through the Class Seesaw app. And in order to complete the activity, students simply had to click on the activity section and then click on the add response. Once they clicked on the add response, they were shown the activity page, which displayed the activity they had to complete. So this is the page that our students would see when they access the activity. They will be able to read through the text that the teacher typed explaining the activity and the tasks that they had to do. They would also be able to click on play instructions.
Morning, Pentagons. This morning in maths, we're going to firstly recap on some common coins and then move on to explaining how to add 2 amounts together.
And in this case, the voice recording read out exactly what was written in the text here. The students could also then click on the video at the top, and that would open the video for them to watch. So in this particular video, I started with a recap of the coins before moving on to addition of amounts. Students could again click on this at any point during the day, or it would still be available 2, 3, 4 weeks into the future. So as soon as they click on this, it would open within the Seesaw app.
This is your maths lesson for today. And in maths, we're going to be looking at money.
And in this video, I chose to record for near enough 12 minutes. So all the way through,
£1 on it.
We spoke about
Again,
the
it
different
doesn't.
coins.
Next thing we're going on to look at is
We
how
ordered
to
the
add
coins
amounts of money together. So that here.
before
But
moving
when
on
we add
to
them, we use exactly the
some
same
costings
method
for
that we have
different
done with the
items.
column addition. So if we take the football first, the football,
And then if my video is willing to
our
play, there we
chocolate
go.
bar, all together,
Then we went
they
into
cost
adding the two amounts together.
£3.82.
So again, this is the activity that the students were able to see. And now I'm going to show you the follow-up to this activity. So with all remote learning, the best thing about the children completing the remote learning was being able to give them feedback. And in the case of Seesaw, teachers were alerted when a child had completed an activity. Teachers could then view the activity that they had completed. For example, this one here. Teachers were then able to see who had viewed the activity. In this case, it was the child's mother. Teachers and students and parents could like the item and a comment could be left. So my feedback for this particular child was, wow, great work here. Well done, you. That's definitely going in the wow folder. So this was a celebratory comment that I wanted to put for this one. For some of the students that would find it difficult to read this, I chose to use a voice recording section on Seesaw, which is within the comments. So instead of typing a comment here, I could record my own voice reading this out. In order to make sure that remote learning was successful for Highfurlong, all students were reallocated with a new QR code and all parents were given their own unique QR code, enabling them to view their own child's work. Each teacher was able to set different tasks by either searching the Seesaw library or creating their own individual activities and then share those with their own students. And the beauty of this was that each teacher could create a particular activity which was tailored to their own classroom's ability. Taking into account the needs of our students, at Highfurlong, we decided as a team to complete 3 activities per day. These consisted of a maths, English, and foundation subject activity. Each student was able to access the 3 activities, which were tailored to their own academic or sensory needs, and teachers were able to use the feedback as a form of assessment. Throughout COVID, we had a very positive response from parents and students. The parents were grateful for the amount of information that was shared on Seesaw with them, and they were constantly kept in the loop with any additional information by sharing it through the Seesaw messaging section. And aside from completing their remote learning at home, students also enjoyed being able to stay in touch with their friends. This was by both sharing pictures and videos or drawing pictures that they could then share on the class post wall. So that pretty much concludes this video of explaining how we use Seesaw and how it helped us to fulfill our remote learning obligation. It is somewhat difficult to explain Seesaw completely over a PowerPoint video. So if anybody would like any additional information, please feel free to contact me. You can either do that by contacting Highfurlong directly, or my Twitter account is here, and feel free to send me a message and I will answer as soon as possible. Thanks very much for taking the time to listen to this, and I hope it's been useful. Thank you.